In 1986, my mother didn't like the outcome of the first divorce referendum, so we emigrated to New York. I was 14 years of age. I went to high school there and I discovered boys. And I quite liked boys. They had a lot of them in high school. And a friend of mine got quite tired of me talking about one particular boy, so he showed me this Gary Larson cartoon. I identified very strongly with the man in the bed at the top. Same planet, different worlds. Myself and my friends in high school got the opportunity to go to Russia in, well, the USSR as it was then in 1988 at the start of Perestroika. I was really excited. I was a budding communist. We would get to visit Moscow, Leningrad and go on the Trans-Siberian Railway. Part of my excitement was that a boy I liked, Soo-Young Kim, was also going to be going. However, 2 days before we flew, his visa was denied. And his visa was denied because Soo-Young was South Korean. And unfortunately, the USSR did not recognize South Korea as a country, and he was told that he didn't exist. We thought this was hilarious. Soo-Young didn't, and he was pretty upset about it for quite a while. And that stuck with me for a long time afterwards. That notion of being told that you don't exist, that you are not valid. And it got me thinking for most of my life after that about what is country. For this, I tried to find out how many countries there are, and I got really confused. There's a lot of countries, I know that, but it seems that the UN have one number, but then loads of other people have other numbers. So it's somewhere between 192 and 250. The last country that the UN acknowledged was South Sudan in 2011, July 14th to be precise. Although it does seem that the second largest, or the second oldest international organisation is the Universal Postal Union, which is a new fact I learned. And apparently that's a really good way to work out what is a country, because if you can send a letter to it, then it's a country, seemingly. Now, I do have a problem with that because they recognise Santa, and NASA recognises Santa, and NORAD recognises Santa, but the UN doesn't recognise Santa. So I think that there is a flaw there somewhere. But this notion of country, the word country comes, the etymology of it is from the late Latin, which is contra or contrada, which is against. Specifically, it's the view against your vision, or it's the landscape against what you see. And it seems to me that that's somehow a definition by difference. It's like you're defined by what you're in opposition to in some way, or you're defined by your difference, or how you're different. And as we know, many countries are born out of difference. There are many countries emerge or evolve through revolution, or through people standing up and going, I'm going to go and live over here the way I want to. And so all my life I have thought about my friend Soo-Young. He was gorgeous. And I also thought about country and what it means. That's supposed to be moving. And I think that these boundaries are fluid, and I think they will continue to be fluid into the 22nd century. I think they will need to be fluid as the human race moves and progresses. I think we need to reassess our identity and how we seek it. At the beginning of the 21st century, 1 in every 35 people was a migrant on this planet. And if you put all those people together on the one landmass, it would be the 5th largest country, which is kind of huge. Last year, $335 billion was sent back to other countries by migrants. That was the amount generated by migrant remittances. There are countries on this planet which survive solely on the money that is sent back to them by migrants, which is quite a staggering concept, seeing that we work so hard to keep people out, and we work so hard to make it impossible for them to work. This is a photo I took of a photo here in the Science Gallery. I got a bit meta, but I really like it. It was taken by Charles Duke on Apollo 16, and it's his family, and it's a portrait. He put it on the lunar landscape and took a photo. And I really like it because for me, it's like a passport in the future. And it's an idea of what a passport might be if you go to the moon. And I like to think it was kind of a little passport. And then the final slide, well, that's me. That's kind of how I feel. And that's my imaginary country somewhere with my sack on my back. Thank you very much.